Halloween's origins actually date back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. The Celts, who lived 2,000 years ago in what is now Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France, celebrated their new year on November 1st. This day marked the end of summer and the harvest, and the beginning of the dark, cold winter. The Celts believed that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead mixed. On the night of October 31st, they celebrated Samhain, when it was believed that the ghosts of the dead returned to Earth. The Celts believed that ghosts were troublemakers who damaged crops and caused mischief. At the same time, they believed that the presence of these otherworldly spirits made it easier for the Druids, or Celtic priests, to make predictions about the future. These prophecies were an important source of comfort and direction during the long, dark winter. To celebrate this event, the Druids built huge, sacred bonfires, around which the people gathered to protect themselves from the spirits. During the celebration, the people wore costumes, typically consisting of animal heads and skins, and attempted to tell each other's fortunes. When the celebration was over, everyone lit their home fireplaces from the sacred bonfire to help protect them during the coming winter. By the year 43 CE, the Roman Empire had conquered the majority of the Celtic territories, and the Romans ruled the Celts for the next 400 years. Two Roman festivals mixed with the traditional Celtic celebrations of Samhain. The first was Feralia, a day in late October when the Romans traditionally commemorated the passing of the dead. The second was a day to honor Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. The symbol of Pomona was the apple, and this is how the tradition of bobbing for apples on Halloween originated. In 609 CE, Pope Boniface IV established All Martyrs' Day in the Christian Church. In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III later expanded the festival to include All Saints as well as All Martyrs. He changed the name of the day to All Saints' Day and moved the day of celebration to November 1st. All Saints' Day was also called All Hallows' Day. The day before, or October 31st, was known as All Hallows' Evening, or All Hallows' Even. Eventually, the name was shortened to Halloween. Since the spirit world and the human world mixed on Samhain, people believed that they would run into ghosts if they left their homes on this night. To avoid being recognized by these ghosts, people would wear masks when they were outside after dark, so that the ghosts would think they were just fellow spirits. In the new American colonies, Halloween became a mixture of the beliefs of different European immigrants as well as the Native Americans. The first colonial celebrations included play parties, which were public events held to celebrate the harvest, where neighbors would share stories of the dead, tell each other's fortunes, dance, and sing. Colonial Halloween festivals also included the telling of ghost stories and mischief-making of all kinds. By the middle of the 19th century, annual autumn festivals were common, but still, Halloween was not yet celebrated everywhere in the country. In the second half of the 19th century, America was flooded with new immigrants. These new immigrants, especially the millions of Irish who were fleeing Ireland's potato famine of 1846, helped popularize the celebration of Halloween throughout the country. Borrowing from Irish and English traditions, Americans began to dress up in costumes and go house to house asking for food or money, a practice that eventually became today's trick-or-treat tradition in America. In the late 1800s, Americans tried to change Halloween into a holiday more about community and neighborly get-togethers, rather than about ghosts, pranks, and witchcraft. In the turn of the century, Halloween parties for both children and adults became the most common way to celebrate October 31st. The parties focus on games, foods of the season, and festive costumes. Parents were encouraged by newspapers and community leaders to take anything frightening or grotesque out of the Halloween celebrations. By the 1920s and 1930s, Halloween had become a secular and community-centered holiday, with parades and town-wide parties. In the 1950s, the centuries-old practice of trick-or-treating was revived. Families could prevent tricks from being played upon them by providing the neighborhood children with small treats. In the Middle Ages, on All Souls' Day, the priests told people to pray for the souls that were trapped in purgatory, a place between heaven and hell. They believed that if a soul received enough prayers, it would fly out of purgatory and up to heaven. On All Souls' Day, children would go souling. They would go door to door and beg for soul cakes, which were spiced cakes filled with raisins. In return for these treats, the children would offer up prayers for souls trapped in purgatory. This was the beginning of the modern-day trick-or-treating ritual. In the 20th century in America, homeowners offered children candy or treats in order to discourage them from pranking or playing tricks upon their homes. The phrase trick-or-treat was coined by Doris Hudson Moss in 1939 when she published an article in the American Home magazine talking about how she had an open house for the children of the neighborhood where she gave them sweets and never got tricked. While originally, the costumes were to disguise people from being recognized by ghosts, today, the selling of costumes for Halloween is a multi-million-dollar business throughout the United States. The costumes are no longer limited to scary goblins and witches. They now resemble pop culture icons, political figures, superheroes, occupations, and many other aspects of our society. And children and adults love to dress up for Halloween.